If you need to fix your life, watch this. First of all, respect to you for clicking on this long, unedited guide instead of all of the short clickbait videos that you could have chosen to watch. There's so much degenerate content out there. There's porn, there's shorts, there's reels, there's TikToks. And instead you chose to watch this long video, which is just going to be pure education, although I'll try and make it like interesting for you. So you most likely already have a top 1% attention span if you choose to watch these like long, full length educational guides, and you truly have my respect for that. Why should you listen to me on this topic of fixing your life? Well, remember the COVID lockdown that happened 4 years ago, start of 2020? We started to see it on the news, and, you know, people in like the political space, the governors or whatever, started to come on TV and start telling people to like stay at home. And there's this new pandemic that's happening. You remember that, right? It was almost like it was yesterday. Well, around that time, I wasn't really doing so well. This was in 2020, just around that time. I had just trimmed my hair because obviously the barbers were all closed. You can even see from the look of my face, like how I was feeling around that time. I was smoking weed. I was eating junk food. I was masturbating, watching porn all the time, like every single day. I was getting really negative thoughts. I wasn't really exercising. I was working a job that I didn't like. So basically I was called like a key worker because I worked in a homeless shelter. So I still had to go to work in like the dark and everything. And, you know, I just wasn't liking my life at all. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to get into better shape. I wanted to live a better life. And I just wasn't really making any progress to that. Since that point, since 2020, the COVID lockdown, this is what I've achieved. I became a lot more healthy, built a really nice physique, improved my looks. I improved my relationship with my family. I moved back home to my family's home because beforehand I was living in apartments. I moved back to my family home and really improved the relationship that I have with my father, my mother, and my brother. I work with my siblings now, like they work for me inside of my business. And my relationship with my dad was so much better. I wrote like a gratitude letter for him for how hard he had worked, gave it to him, read it out to him. And I remember he cried and, you know, he thanked me for basically appreciating that he had worked like, you know, like as taxi driver and those kinds of jobs for like 20 years to just provide for the family. And so I significantly improved my relationship with my family. I became, you know, more attractive, more fit and healthy. I improved my diets. In the same space, I got to 3 million total follow accounts. So on this main channel, you can just look below this video. I've got like 2.3 million subscribers. On Instagram, I've got 200K. I've got a second channel on YouTube that's got like 300K subscribers. And, you know, just like Twitter, 100 something. But basically, I've got like 3 million total follow accounts. And here's a little screenshot. I don't know if you can read that, but basically it's a screenshot on a Reddit post from 4 years ago, which is from me saying I'm literally getting 0 views. And I was wondering like if people could even see my videos. My business makes a lot of money. It makes about $200,000 a month now. So I've become a millionaire. I've won awards. This is Alex Amosi and this is Sam Ovens, like amazing God tier entrepreneurs, like some of the best entrepreneurs of our day. And this was them congratulating me on the award that I won. Basically, I have like the top performing community on this website. So this is what the website tracks. Like you can't lie. This is like literally the actual website's tracking. It's 178,000. But I also have, it's hard to explain, but I have like private payments as well. So I make just over 200,000 a month income, and probably like 180,000 of that is profit, by the way. So I've become like a millionaire. I've also had multiple relationships with amazing, beautiful women, and I've learned a lot of lessons with that as well. Obviously, these relationships have ended. These are like my exes and stuff, but it was, you know, it was a great time to be the kind of guy who can attract beautiful, amazing quality women and to have relationships with them and to spend, you know, enjoyable time with them as well. So why should you listen to me? Well, this is what I've achieved. I became a millionaire, 200K a month. I improved the relationship with my family. I got 3 million followers. I improved my looks. I built my dream physique. I improved my health. I have no anxiety anymore. I increased my testosterone. I have had relationships with awesome women with lots of learning lessons. All of this since the COVID lockdown. Before the COVID lockdown, I had none of this. My dad was a taxi driver. I was broke. I was on government welfare. I wasn't in shape. I wasn't healthy. I had no followers. I literally was getting 0 views on my videos. I had a really poor, abusive relationship with my family. I had a toxic relationship with a girl that I was living with, but, I was like lonely at the same time. Basically, all of this was 0. And in just the time from remember the COVID lockdown, since that point, this is what I've built up. So you can think, oh shit, like I've actually made some really fast progress. Now, I'm not trying to boast when I say this. I'm telling you all this because honestly, one, I want to just validate myself just so you know, okay, this guy's actually credible to listen to in terms of fixing his life fairly quickly. But also, honestly, I'm just really proud of myself. And I hope that you can look at all this and be proud of me too. I hope that if you're watching this, you've been watching this with almost like a smile and a nod on your face, thinking like, damn, like good for this guy. That's fucking inspiring. If there is someone watching who's like getting angry and thinking, oh, this is, he's just boasting, I don't care. I invite those people to click off because we're not compatible. But if you're the kind of person who like, you almost in a weird way feel proud of me because you're like, oh damn, like, if he's made this much progress in a few years, that's fucking like good for him. Like he must have worked hard for that. You're the kind of person that I'd love to like, watch my videos and watch my channel. So here's my promise for you today. Today, I just want to help you and teach you some lessons so that you can make less mistakes than I did on your journey to create an amazing life that you love. Hopefully you can make more progress in a faster rate than I did. Quick introduction from me if you don't know me already. My name is Hamza. I make videos that save lives. Subscribe if you want. Often, if you don't actually subscribe, you might not get videos like this on your homepage. So I really recommend that you just subscribe. You go below the video, click the subscribe button, and you'll be more likely to see my next video. All my videos are like 40 minutes long of just this kind of like low dopamine education that I just try and make like a step-by-step tutorial on how to improve your life. So there's 3 steps to fixing your life. And you might notice, well, I'll read them out first. So there's 3 steps to fixing your life. The first one is destination, which is the goals that we're going to set, but they're going to be important goals. They're going to be what's called self-transcending goals, because if you set goals which aren't like this, which you probably have done, you won't achieve them. So there's a very specific way to set goals which you actually achieve, and most people don't do this. And along with the destination, we'll also talk about the flow state work, the kind of work that will actually be enjoyable for you to grind. Then we'll talk about the handbrakes to your success, the things that are slowing you down, which is diets, drugs, environment, addictions, video games, content consumption, ADHD, and more. So we'll break down why these are slowing you down right now. Like these are the evil things slowing you down, and also how to stop each and every one of them, because every single one of these I have improved on. Then we'll talk about acceleration. Like now that we've basically taken off the handbrakes and it's all gas ahead, all speed ahead, we'll talk about the kind of things that you need to really make progress, which is essentialism, deep work, and extreme monk mode seasons. The reason why I've got a little picture of a guy driving here is because I just passed my driving test, which is another like W to add to my belt. Nice accomplishment for me. I'm 26 years old and I only just got my driving license, and so I've kind of made it like car themed, like destination, handbrake, acceleration, which I think it works really well because these are genuinely the 3 things you need to fix your life, and we'll be covering all of that in this video. So just before we do that though, the top link in this description is another video that I've linked, which is everything you need to get girls in 2024. So when you're ready to start dating and you want to like basically learn what it takes to attract girls, then that top link will help you. So maybe you can click on that link and save the video, or just have it open or something to watch after you finish watching this one. So let's begin with the actual education, and we'll start with destination, which is basically just A to B, where you are to where you want to get to. So what we need is self-transcending goals. This isn't just what you want, but what you want for your people. The reason why, if you've set goals before but you haven't achieved them, is because man was not meant to work for himself. He was meant to work for his people. And many people in the modern day, that, like, no offense, but they're quite selfish. And if you set a selfish goal which only benefits you, you'll have like literally 25% energy towards it. But if you set a goal that benefits others, you'll just have way more motivation. You'll be so surprised of how much more you can work. So what we need is self-transcending goals, goals that will help other people. So this is a question to ask yourself. In what ways do you want to develop yourself for your people? Like if you even close your eyes right now and imagine yourself from third person, kind of like a character selection screen in like a video game, what would you want you to be like if you were a servant of the people, a leader of the people? What skills would you need? What personality? And chances are, if you're looking at that in your mind's eye right now, you might start to get a little bit inspired. Because when you only set like, self-absorbed goals of what you want, it's kind of like, yeah, I want money, but like, I don't care. Yeah, I want to attract girls, but I'll just watch porn. Yeah, I want friends, but I'll just play video games. It's very easy to just kind of like not want to grind for the goal. But when you start to think of other people, that's when it really helps. And so a question for you is, what kind of life do you want to build for your future children, your parents, your spouse, your community? Really think about this right now. Like, what kind of life do you want to build for your future children? Would you not just want to, be wealthy enough to provide for them and give them amazing like education and healthcare? Maybe you'd also want to learn like the full-on minuscule things of how to raise them in a way where they're not traumatized and they feel so loved and so safe and so heard. And so suddenly you start thinking, wow, like I really want to heal my childhood trauma so that I don't pass it on to my children. How about for your parents? What kind of life do you want to build for them? Many of our people in our generation, might gonna stress you out, but like people in our generation, we're not prepared for what it's going to be like in 20 years when many of us are still broke, but our parents are old and we can't afford to take care of them. It's going to be very dark days if you haven't leveled up. And so if you've, set goals on trying to make money before, but you've really not been motivated for it, what if you just put in the image of like what kind of life you'd want for your parents? What if you could get them like a full-time carer and they could still live in their own home or even a better home that you could afford rather than needing to do something like sending them to like a care home where they might be getting abused or something? How about for your spouse? How about for your community? What kind of life, like what could you do for these people? This is what will drive you more, way more than just thinking about your own goals. So set goals that challenge you, that are enjoyable to grind, and that will give you and the people you care about great rewards. So my goals in 2020, for example, were to improve my mental health, to build an aesthetic body, like to build muscle and to get fit, to make £2,000 a month, and to get a girlfriend. I actually achieved all these in around 1 year from the time that I set the goal. Set some goals that inspire you, that are kind of fun in the day to make progress towards and give you a direction to move towards, and in some ways will help you, because I knew that if I improve my mental health, I would be better for my family. I would be better for my viewers because I was a small YouTuber at the time. I knew that I'd be better for my future girlfriend. The aesthetic body, I knew that would make my future like girlfriend more, sexually attracted to me. The money, I knew that I would be giving a lot of this money to my family. So here's a little action step for you. Write out your goals on paper and stick it up on your wall and stare at it just like a psychopath every now and then. I suggest writing down like 3 to 4 goals, maybe even like honestly 1 to 3 goals. Like the less is better usually. And just write it down. Maybe take a minute right now to just think of the kind of goals and why it would help not only you, but the people you care about, even if, the people aren't in your life yet, like your future spouse. And think about how that would help them. And suddenly you'll find that you'll just have so much more motivation to go for this. Write it down on a piece of paper, stick it up on your wall as I've done here, because you'll find that in a weird way, it just makes you more consistent and you commit to it more, because it's almost like, this public declaration where it's right there. You can't forget about the goal now. It's like if you write on it that you want to like lose weight, you'll be less likely to cheat on your diet because it's there right in your face. You'll be like bringing up junk food to eat at your desk or something, and you'll see that piece of paper that says lose weight, and then you'll feel like, oh shit, like maybe I shouldn't eat this. It'll give you extra accountability. And honestly, this is the weird one, but maybe people you live with, like your family, will see it as well. And even though it can be a little bit, cringe if they see your goals or something, it's almost like you'll get extra social accountability, because if your family see like a goal that you've wrote on your wall, and then you wouldn't want to act in a way that deviates from that goal because it's like a public declaration. So it'll actually really help you. So do this task. You can pause the video and then do it, stick it up on your wall, just like I've done here. Then the next thing for the destination is the flow state work. So I want to help you figure out like what kind of career or business you want to get into, because most people who feel like they need to fix their life, this is a large part of it. So there's 2 big questions to ask yourself to decide what career or business to go into. And both of these questions really helped me. The first question is, what work would you do if you knew you would fail? That's not a spelling mistake. If you knew you would fail. So imagine, okay, you're going to go work on something for the next year or 2 or years or whatever, and you're 100% going to fail. what work would you want to do then? This question helps you to figure out what you enjoy, because if you're bound to fail, you'd pick something that's at least fun. So your action step right now is to answer the question as a comment below this video right now. It might be interesting for you, like, in the future to come back to this video, go find your old comments and be like, oh, damn, I can't believe I said that. So go write that as a comment. You can pause the video and just have a look at this sentence here and go answer that. Then the next question is, what problems do you want to suffer through? Don't make decisions based on the rewards that you want, like the money, the status. Make decisions based on the problems you want to go through, the suffering, the grind. So my story with this is in 2020, at the start of 2020, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. There was so many different random business models that I was trying: YouTube, dropshipping, agency, copywriting. And I wasn't sure which one to go into. Then there was random ideas like that just came into my mind. Like, what if I just tried to become a rapper? Because if I practice for like 10 hours a day, I could probably become a pretty good rapper and I could get famous. And what if I go into the military? So I enlisted, or I was in the process of enlisting into the military. I had like my medical check and everything. And I was like, oh, like, what if I just join the military and then I'll be really fit and I'll spend time with other guys and it'll be like brotherhood and stuff. Basically, there were so many things that I was weighing up and I was jumping and flipping around from which one I should do, which one. And if you relate to that, what I realized was wrong was that I was only looking at the good things that I might get from each path. But that actually started to seem so absurd, because I was like, wait, the good things that I get from any business model, any career, is like money, status, this, like, basically it's always like a good thing. That's what you're staring at, right? That doesn't actually help you choose. I got the idea. What if I thought about the problems that I wanted to go through, the problems that I wanted to solve? What pain do I want to go through? I thought about the pain of being in the military, and the thought of, like, because I'm in the UK, but I was born in Pakistan, and the thought of like the UK going to war with Pakistan, I was like, that's not a pain that I want to go through. I don't even know which side like I'd root for. I thought about the pain of becoming a coder, because I was like learning like web development. And I thought about the pain, and I was like, you know what, like, no offense to them, but I was like, I don't want to be a nerd. I don't want to be sat there on my computer, like, feeling like a nerd all my life. I thought about the pain of every business model that I was trying, like drop shipping. That's where you make like a website where you're basically selling like some Chinese product for a higher price, and then you ship it directly from China to your customer. So you basically don't even like create anything. You just kind of like capture sales from kind of idiotic people who buy from you instead of the source. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to go through the pain of making like shitty websites and, always being a guy who's selling products that I don't agree with. I thought about the pain of every career business up until I thought about YouTube. And I was like, wait, the pain of YouTube is that people might leave hate comments. I'll deal with it. The pain of YouTube is that I'll go through some kind of technical problems. Like, I'll make a video and randomly like the video didn't record, or, something like that. I'll deal with it. I realized that the pain and the problems of being a YouTuber was what I actually wanted. So here's another action step for you: is answer your question, or answer this question as a comment below the video right now. You can do it in a separate comment, or you can just edit the first comment and add this in. What problems do you want to suffer through when you think about the ventures or the paths that you have in front of you? Like, you probably think, okay, I could go to college, I could do this business model, I could do this business model, I could try this career. Ask yourself, out of all of those, which path has the problems that you actually want to suffer through? You might just find that you might have very quickly found what you want to do in life. Here's an important lesson that I've learned. A lot of your fulfillment is likely to come from the work that you do and the problems that you solve through it. Like, a lot of us have been fed this lie of materialism to think that achievement and making money and getting status is what will fulfill you. And it's often not. A lot of fulfillment comes from actually doing the work, like not the results that the work gives you, not the followers or the money, but actually like the act of doing the work that you think is important. And so you may as well choose the thing you really want to do, even if it's harder to get success in it. Even if you have to have uncomfortable conversations with your parents, maybe you want to choose the real thing you want to do. Because this is a one I hear all the time from young guys who speak to me, and they say like, oh, I want to do this, but my parents want me to do something else. And I always say to them, like, is your relationship with your parents perfect as it is? They're like, no. I say, do you have arguments with them anyway? They say yes. So I was like, what's another argument to add in there anyway? It's like, if like you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation and an argument with them within the next few weeks anyway. You may as well have one about following your dreams rather than following theirs. And there's a phrase I like, which is live your life as if your father is dead. Live your life and make your decisions as if your parents are not forcing you, because living your life aligned to someone else's dreams for you is the number one regret of dying old people. This was a huge, I think it was a book. It was like a nurse who worked in hospitals, and basically she cared for people who were about to die, like old people. And so she'd randomly just ask them questions. And she found, and one of the questions she'd ask is like, would you have any regrets? And the number one most common regret was, I wish I lived my own life instead of the life that other people wanted for me, mostly their parents. That's the number one regret. Have that fucking uncomfortable conversation. If you're right now trying to think of what you want to do with life, and there's something you want to do but you almost don't even want to admit it, or because you know that your parents won't approve, it'd be 20 minutes or a few hours of an argument to save years of your life. Because either way, if you have the kind of parents who are pressuring you into a certain path, they're the kind of parents that you're probably going to have arguments with, even if you follow what they say anyway. So if you're going to have arguments anyway, you may as well at least go and live your dream and not theirs. So that's us plotting the destination, the direction that we want to go to. It's the easiest part of the 3 steps. So by completing this section, you should know which direction you want to go into. You should know at least some idea of the goals that you could set, which also help other people. And you should have some idea of the flow state, like basically the work that you really want to do. Now let's go over the handbrakes to your success and to your improvements in life. What's stopping you? We have a picture of me smoking a joint at nighttime in Manchester. This is the apartment that I used to live in, and you can just see like the amount of just disgusting snacks that I had. A lot of people will see this and see nothing wrong. Now that I've made so much progress in my diet, I'm telling you, like this was the reason why I was struggling so much, and I can't understate that. So please listen to this properly. I am sure that diet is one of the biggest reasons why you feel stuck. When you eat normal food, like basically whatever you're probably eating right now, what your family eats, what your friend eats, it's like your brain is not even 50% as sharp or as smart as it should be. So when I was in school, I basically had symptoms of ADHD, which many people had, where the teacher would be writing, on the whiteboard in the front of the screen and in front of the class, and my brain would just be thinking about video games or the girl I had a crush on. Like I wanted to be able to focus, I wanted to be able to get good grades, and I just couldn't. I couldn't focus. I couldn't stay there present. My mind would just wander. I had this constant brain fog, constant tiredness, and I'm telling you. Like most kids, most young people, most people are living life like this, like with their brains literally 50% foggy, like 50% not even working. And it's just down to the food that we eat. From that moment, I struggled for so long. I tried to become an entrepreneur in 2020, and I wasn't making any good progress whilst I was eating stuff like this. I'm telling you, you would be so surprised. This kind of diet lowers your success in life. Not just you, like a lot of us thought that this is just about like how much fat you gain and, the calories. It's not. It's like this kind of stuff literally makes your brain just less sharp, and you need a sharp brain to go and create success in this world. And so it was around a year and a half ago, or actually about 4 years ago when, I made all this progress. That's when I first improved my diet. And I went from eating a lot of this junk food stuff to way more of the sort of natural foods, vegetables, meat, and those kinds of things. And I had a big improvement to my health and my productivity. It was like the first time ever I could sit down and do some good work, which is awesome. Then a year before and right now, so in about 2023, I started to really double down on my diet. And now my diet is so simple that I honestly don't think you'd even believe me because of what I eat. You probably think I'm exaggerating or joking. Basically, I eat meat, eggs, cheese, and honey. That's it. I only eat these things. I'll have every now and then there'll be something which is slightly different. I'll have a protein shake, for example. Sometimes the protein shake's got banana in it. It's got peanut butter in it. Okay, sometimes I have that kind of stuff. But 90-something% of my calories is literally like meats and cheese and eggs and honey. I just have a little teaspoon before a workout. I know it sounds crazy. It's such a simple diet. And I'm not talking about I have a burger, or I'm not talking about I have meat on a pizza or something. I'm talking like literally, imagine you just cook up like chicken thighs and I have a plate with just chicken thighs on it. That's what I eat. And I know what you're thinking, wait, that's boring. That's so boring. How do you do that? Once you've experienced what I've experienced, you'll look at the world and look like I look at what you eat and I'm thinking like, bro, how do you do that? You just haven't experienced what it's like when you only eat a simple diet. And I've experimented a lot with this and I can't explain to you just how healthy I've become from that. I know what you're thinking. It's like, no, this isn't healthy. Like you need more balance and stuff. But I've done a lot of experimentation. My mind is so sharp. Like it's 7:28 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. again. I wake up at 4. I've become so happy, productive. I have no anxiety anymore because of stuff like this. I stay lean and it's so, I can't stress how much I believe that this is a major problem for people. We're all eating like basically fake food. Like none of this is real food. And we have all been led to believe that this is all about calories. So it's like, if you eat the right calories, you're fine. It's not about the calories. It's about that this kind of food just makes you like mentally slow. And if you've ate this kind of food, like this junk food or processed food, and you're having like pizza and stuff so consistently, like you won't even know how much you're missing out on with your brain. So how do you improve your diet? Progressively get closer to the real food diets. Don't try and think, okay, you can get to my diet immediately. Just get a little bit closer to it. Start eating more meat, eggs, cheese, and those kinds of things. Eat less processed shit from the stores. Like, there's, I don't know, a sandwich or something that you get, or like some pizza or pasta or some pot noodles or weird shit that you can just get from like the stores. Eat less of that. Eat less of like the fast food joints. Consider the keto diet as well, because a lot of people do better with low/no carb. You get a lot less brain fog when you're on the keto diet. Keto diet, basically, you just don't have carbs. And we're not saying this, by the way, just for like fat loss or anything, although that is nice. I'm saying this for more of your brain's health, because when you eat this kind of stuff, you are so much less capable. And so this is the way that I personally did it. And by the way, it took me years when I improved my diet in 2020, and from that point it's taken me about 4 years to get to the point where this is all I eat now, and I don't really feel like I'm missing out or anything. Of course, like, every now and then we'll talk about it soon, like I'll have like breaks from my diet and I'll go traveling or something and I'll go to restaurants, but most of the time this is basically just what I eat. So here's an action step for you to just try this right now. Think of a meal that you often eat. Because in general, honestly, most of us eat like the same, like 10 meals every time anyway, obviously like interchanged. So think of one meal that you eat all the time. What's one thing you can change to make it better? Maybe you can make it lower carb. Maybe you can have less processed fake shit inside of it. Maybe you can add in more meat to it so it's more filling. Maybe you can add in some eggs to it. Whatever the meal is that you consistently eat, try and make one change to it. And if you just make one change to it today, and try and make one small change to it almost every day, within like a month or 2 months from now, you'll have the perfect diet for yourself. You'll have experimented to know, okay, this is how many eggs I can eat in a day, and it feels awesome. I ate that thing, I tried that other thing, and it didn't make me feel good. I felt the difference, so I'm not going to eat that anymore. This is the ultimate diet, is we're not eating all the same things, but rather you've experimented by like getting into a very simple diet, like an elimination diet, and then adding in like one ingredient at a time. So I'm not having like egg sandwiches or something like that, which has got eggs in it. I literally just eat eggs. I just eat meat, not with the carbs or anything like that. I'll have a plate of just meat, and I can't explain to you how good this has been for me. I know this sounds crazy, but I really wish someone like just dropped this into my mind a few years ago, because I would have gotten here faster. And so just vow to make that change. If you can visualize the next time you're getting like one of the consistent meals you get, and you just remember to change it in some way to make it a little bit healthier and a little bit less processed, you will notice that this will actually help you with your success journey. And you can set a reminder if you have to as well. You can set an alarm or something that like whatever the meal is, like maybe later, you're not going to have it as bad as it usually is. You can make one small change and try and make that fairly often. The next thing, which is a handbrake on your success, is drugs and addiction. So I started smoking weed when it was like 2019, and I smoked almost every single day for a year straight with a lot of cope that, it's so good for journaling. It's so good to to ask yourself questions and to be introspective. And basically it sapped my potential for entrepreneurship, because it gave me like a fun thing to do, which wasn't work. And, I kept on saying like, oh yeah, but it's like a treat after working. But often I'd smoke even without the work anyway. So you need to understand that if you've got like some kind of drug you're taking, which you kind of know is a problem, understand that no matter what your mind says, it's just an excuse. It's just a cope. Everyone copes so well to continue their addictions. And it's always bullshit. It's always like, bro, a few years from now, you'll be looking back and you'll be thinking like, yep, it was complete bullshit. I was just coping, saying that it was productive for whatever reason. The first stage, in my opinion, of quitting like a drug is to stop coping and pretending like it's productive for you, and to just completely admit, yes, I actually want to stop. Then usually it takes like months from that point for you to actually quit, because you kind of have to like progressively deload it. If you try and quit immediately, often you just snap back and you just do loads of it. If you try and quit over time by progressively deloading it, by, for example, if you normally smoke, let's to make it easy, like if you normally smoke like 5 grams of weed a week, this week, for example, you aim for 4 grams. So it doesn't feel that different. It's like you just, had less time to smoke, for example. Next week, it's like 3. Next week, it's 2. Next week, it's 1. You intersperse it like that till eventually you're on like 1 gram of weed a week. You've like lowered it so much. The same we could say with watching porn or any other drug or alcohol. If you progressively deload it for like 2 months, you'll get to the point where you basically do it so little that at that point it's like, okay, fine. If you want to have like 1 joint a week or something, if you want to have like 1 or 2 glasses of wine a week, yeah, fine. At that point, you like, that's a good level that if you still wanted to keep it in your life, you could do. But many people think that their drug is like productive for them, and often it's really not. So here's how to quit the drugs like weed. Another thing you can do along with the progressive deloading is to move, to change up the environment. I was never able to quit smoking weed up until I moved back here. So I was living in that apartment and I moved back here to my family's house 4 years ago. I moved and changed up the environment and then just basically stopped smoking because I started a new chapter and I didn't bring that shit with me. So if you can move somewhere and start a new chapter, by all means, go ahead and do that, because you'll be so surprised of how much progress you can make when you move somewhere else. If you can't move, try and create some kind of moving feeling, like arranging your place in a different, like rearranging your place or moving to like a different room. So for example, like the environment plays a lot on us. You'd be so surprised. And so, for example, if you move like apartments, that gives you a new chapter, which makes it a little bit easier if you wanted to quit smoking weed at the same time. Like one of the reasons why we keep taking drugs is, or whatever the drug or addiction is because it's just a habit. It's like we get home and we're constantly in like the habitual state that we just reactively go for the thing that we're used to. And when you move, you've destroyed all the habitual states. And so if you don't bring your drug with you, your addiction with you when you move, it'll be a lot easier for you to like quit at that point. Now, if you can't move, then try and like rearrange your place. So for example, if you've got like a little bedroom, move it all around, like move your bed to the other side of the wall, move your wardrobe, and suddenly it's like, oh, you've got a fresh start. And at the same time, throw out all of the shit, delete the dealer's numbers. You don't need that anymore. And every time you say no to your addictions, you say yes to your dreams. This sounds like some cringe quote that, I don't know, some like Christian pastor or something would say, but it is really true. When you say no to these addictions, you are really saying yes to your goals. And one reminder I just want to give you, which I don't hear a lot of people talk about when it comes to quitting addictions like drugs, weed, whatever it is, it won't be easy. You'll get constant thoughts to go back. Like when you do these things, you must know that you will constantly be thinking like, oh, I want to smoke, oh, I don't smoke. You'll have this inner battle. It is normal to get that. When you do have it, just keep winning the inner battle, keep fighting it, and keep meditating back onto your dreams. Like keep bringing your thoughts back onto your dreams, back onto your dreams, back onto your dreams. Anytime the thought pops up to like smoke weed or play video games or whatever the addiction is, back onto your dreams, back onto your goals. Then let's talk about the environment, which a lot of this is based on your family and your friends. It's hard to rapidly improve and fix your life when so many people know you and they treat you like your whole self when you want to recreate yourself. Most likely you're watching this because you want to recreate yourself. You want to have like a new chapter to your life because you're sick and tired of what life is like right now. But it's quite difficult to do that when so many people know you and treat you like how you've always been. So if possible, move. Again, like this is the perfect time. If you're watching this video and you feel like you need to fix your life, this is the perfect time to consider moving somewhere else and just taking the risk if you can afford to do so and if you can make that happen. What I do know is every winner out there distanced themselves from the losers who weren't going anywhere. Like every successful friend that I have did this. They had friends and even family that weren't going in the same direction, and there was inevitably distance that was created. It's not your job to try and convince loser friends to get onto the same path as you. So many people who come to me who are trying to fix their life, the reason why they feel like quite chained to where they are is because you've got like friends who you want to spend time with, but who aren't getting on the same path as you. And so it makes it so much harder because you're split between like your friendship or your love life or your family and the new goals that you have for yourself. What I can say is, I think you should just ruthlessly pursue your path. If someone isn't going in the same direction, you naturally can't continue being friends with them long term. And this is like a hard hit for, if I may be totally honest, for the people who aren't successful or very much built for success. You can still change that. But if this page offends you, I do truly know that you aren't a natural winner, because basically I've noticed that poor and unsuccessful people find this advice weird of like cutting off their bad friends, their loser friends. Every single successful person I know has shed layers of friends. Every single one of them. Everyone. Lots of like poor people I know don't like this advice. So it's your choice. I think if you want to like create, this new version of your life, then I think you should consider doing what the more successful people do, which is like shedding layers of the environment and friends who aren't going in the same direction as you are. So what can you do? Well, the action step is, first of all, who comes to mind at this section? You already know who it is, right? Write their name down, not in the comments below, but you can just write their name somewhere or on your phone notes or whatever, or just think about who they are, right? Imagine what their life is going to be like 1 year from now. You can probably tell because you've known this person for long enough of what direction they're going into. Most likely it won't be that different. It'll just be like 10% worse than the life is right now. Now imagine what you want your life to be like 1 year from now. Most likely you don't want it to be the same or worse. You want it to be 5 times better. You want yours to be 500% better than it is right now. Their life most likely is going to be 10% worse than it is right now. Being closer to them will sacrifice your dreams. You've heard that quote, like you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. It is true. So I'd ask you right now, this is brutal, but it's a good question, is how good is your friendship really to sacrifice your dreams for it? Is this like a 10 out of 10, high quality, loving person who's knowledgeable, healthy, and intelligent? Or is this just the friend that you've had for a while that you're too scared to move on from? Most likely it's the second one. Because if it was the 10 out of 10 friend, they'd be progressing as well. So just consider making that change if you want. So another handbrake for a lot of young people, young men, is video games. And there's a huge danger to video games because it gives you a sense of grind, but without real world benefits. A lot of video gamers don't realize just how much video games sap their potential to become successful in life, because you lose a lot of motivation to work harder in real life. Just like drugs, with video games, any excuse is a cope. So many video gamers will say like, no, but it's fun. I'm just relaxing at the end of the hard day. I play with my friends. A lot of that is just cope. It's like video games aren't relaxing. If we like scanned your brain, we wouldn't see your brain relaxing. Come on, like don't lie to yourself. Video games aren't relaxing. They're not too relaxed. It's stimulation. It's not a relaxing thing. It's basically like a grind. It's competition. And here's the interesting thing. You don't actually want to play games. You want the feeling of progress, accomplishment, competition, brotherhood. You never like were born as this animal who said, I want to play video games. You wanted these natural feelings, and you should go and get that in real life from the real thing rather than the virtual world that basically manipulates your desires as a human being to feel like, like high status, that you're making progress to a mission and you're leveling up. You never wanted to play video games. You wanted these things in real life. When you achieve your goals, go play for a week straight if you want. But until then, play 0 minutes. So basically, right now, you're not at the place you want to be. So you shouldn't be defending any of these drugs that 100% are a handbrake to you. And honestly, are the reason why you are stuck here today, why you feel like you need to fix your life. It's interesting. These drugs, video games and drugs and alcohol and diet, your junk food, that's literally like ruined your life. And here you are defending them. Like they don't like you. Like video games don't like you back. The weed doesn't like you back. You might defend it. You might defend video games saying it's not that bad. Like video games don't like you back. They treat you poorly. They're making you into a worse person. They're making you lazier in real life. So my rule is, if you get to the point where you love your life and you've achieved your goals, which you don't bullshit because you're not there, because you wouldn't be watching this video if you were, then go play and take some time off and go play for a few days and go binge some game or something, go have like an all-nighter with your friends. By all means, go ahead. But if you're not at where you want to be in life, which you're not, if you're watching this, then don't play at all, because you may as well just go put in the work and get these feelings that you wanted, but from real life progress instead. So here's how to quit video games. You're going to have to distance yourself from the gamer buddies. Don't even look at the Discord server. You might be surprised. You might think that you've got best friends, these guys who you play with on Discord or something. But you might be surprised that the moment you stop playing video games, you're not even friends with them anymore. And you're like, oh shit, like we weren't even real friends, even though it felt like it because we used to laugh and make jokes. But actually, we were just friends with the game together. That's almost like a realization that so many video gamers get. They delay quitting games for months because they're so scared of like offending their friends. And they realize the moment they quit, they're not even friends with those guys. Those guys don't even invite them to do anything else. Those guys don't want to do anything else. It always happens with the guys who are really like into Discord. You'll quit and then you'll randomly think, okay, I'm not going to play games, but I'll join the Discord anyway. And it's just uncomfortable to do that because motherfuckers are like shouting whilst playing the game and stuff, and you're trying to have a conversation and you realize you don't even have much in common with these guys anymore. And expect, by the way, the crabs, like your friends, to attack you when you do this. It's so common that when a gamer quits, his previous friends will literally attack him and try and bring him back into playing the game. They see you going to the gym, trying to build success, trying to become a better person, trying to like heal, improve your mental health, improve your physical health. And there'll always be one guy in the friendship group who will literally mock you for it. And that should hopefully be like this eye-opening experience to think, oh shit, like these aren't even nice people. They're not even kind people. He's literally like attacking me for trying to become healthier. What you need is you need things in real life that you can grind. So I quit playing RuneScape and Minecraft and League of Legends when I started weightlifting, and that became like my new game. It became like the new skill that I was trying to level up. And so you need the same thing. And when we set those goals at the start of this video, that could be like the new game that you grind for. The only difference is when you grind your goals in real life, you get real life results. You get to the point where randomly, like, there's girls who want to go on dates with you, and they actually like smile and hold eye contact with you, and they want to kiss you. You get to the point where there's like family who's proud of you and the money that you're making that you can spend on nice things. You get to the point where you feel proud of yourself. On the other hand, when you grind in video games, you get some more pixels, and you don't feel proud of yourself. You actually feel the opposite, and your family don't feel proud of you, and girls aren't attracted to you. You want to grind in real life. And so I would really take an aggressive, hard stance against playing video games. Another handbrake is ADHD and things that cause it. So many people have symptoms of ADHD because of content consumption, short form, constant scrolling. It basically makes you harder to hold one thought for longer, which is exactly what you need to create success. Like if you want to become successful, you need focus. You need to be able to sit down and do some work like I'm doing here. Like I've not gotten distracted through this video so far. And so I've been able to improve my brain so that I can stay focused. Imagine if every 2 minutes my brain was just kind of stopping and going elsewhere like it does for most people. This video would have been terrible. My success in life would have been really poor. Any excuse to keep consuming content, because content is what's causing a lot of ADHD symptoms in people, especially shorts. It's just a cope. Again, all of these handbrake things that I'm bringing up, and you might be doing them and thinking to yourself, oh, no, this thing's fine because this thing's like this thing's this. All of it is just a cope. Even for work, education, you might get a small benefit from using shorts or TikToks, but you actually lose more. So don't be stuck in this kind of benefit mindset where, for example, you learned something on TikTok or you learned something on like a YouTube video. So you're like, oh yeah, so it's good for me. Because most of the time, if you're honest, you're probably like losing, like it's a net negative to like using content, social media and scrolling. So it's more of like, it's just a bad trade. You can get insane success in life without consuming content, without scrolling, without being on social media. Now, you might think, wait, but Hamza, you're on social media, but think about it, there's a difference. I'm making this video right now. I'm not actually on social media right now. I'm on like this presentation slide. I'm just staring into my computer screen and I'm teaching. This video will get posted online, but I'm not the one who's consuming. I don't really watch social media content or anything. There's a few YouTubers that I'll watch, but they're more like this, like educational style ones. But that's it. I don't scroll. I don't watch like short form content. I have an Instagram where I post, but I try not to actually consume on there. It's so interesting. The influencers you see who are actually like big on social media, many of us actually don't even use social media. Like I often will get like my team to post things for me just so I don't have to go onto the website, because you randomly will just lose like 20 minutes of your life every time you go onto one of these websites. And this starts like frying your brain. It starts making it that you can't focus as hard. And then that makes your work worse. And so here's how to quit content consumption and fix ADHD symptoms so you can actually focus. The action step is to turn off your notifications. So you might, like, if you're trying to like quit TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, one of the reasons why you might keep going back and just like constantly getting like this brain frying feeling from social media is because you get sent a notification. So this is what I did a few years ago, and it really helped me. So I hope you'll take this step. Go onto your phone right now. Go onto the settings, search for notifications, open that up, and then you'll have a list of apps there. Go down in every app and turn the notifications off. What will happen is, by the way, you'll stack up more notifications, so it feels kind of cool because every time you open Instagram, you'll have like 7 DMs or whatever it is. And this way you won't get notifications, but you'll be able to see like the messages and stuff that you've gotten when you actually go onto the app. So what you don't want is you're just living life and then you get like infiltrated by the Instagram notification when you weren't really in the mood to go onto Instagram. Whereas when you actually are in the mood to go onto Instagram, well, then you'll see all the notifications anyway. So I have notifications disabled for every app on my phone, including like WhatsApp. The only one I don't have is just the phone, because just in case there's like, I get some important phone call or something. But even with WhatsApp, for example, because WhatsApp is where I message family, friends, girls, it's business stuff. But I still don't want that to pop up onto my, my phone screen when I'm not in the mood to be on WhatsApp. And you'll find that this will mean that you stay quite regulated and quite certain and quite consistent, unlike the ADHD symptoms where you've kind of flick around a lot. So go and do that action step right now, and you might just find that it actually means a lot for you. Another quick action step you can do is just move the app on your phone somewhere else. So if you've got like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube somewhere on your phone, move, like literally click and hold the app, move it to like the next page, or move it into like 7 folders or something. And you'll find just how much your finger keeps going back onto where the app used to be, because often you're not even thinking about going onto these apps. You just do it like habitually. You do that, it takes you like 5 seconds to do it right now, and you'll be so surprised. You'll almost call yourself out and be like, damn, I tried opening up Instagram again and it's not, obviously the app's not there anymore, I moved it. But it's kind of cringe how I keep doing it. It's crazy how susceptible I am to, like, the moment I feel a little bit of boredom, I go and do that. And the final action step, if you just want to do this with me and close your eyes, see yourself as a wise young person who, when you're bored, you don't grab your phone straight away. Maybe just see yourself next to other people your age, and they're all like almost like zombies on their phone. And you're like the wise person who knows just how bad that is for you, that's a handbrake of your success and achievement in life. You don't grab your phone when you're bored. You just raw dog the experience of boredom like a happy, wise old person. You can open your eyes. That will help you more than you realize. If you see yourself like this kind of, wise young person who knows the dangers of social media and just constantly being on your phone, your brain will improve, and this will like undo this handbrake so that you can move forward faster. So we've covered the destination. We've also covered the major things that are found stop young people from being able to fix their life. Now let's talk about actually like doing the work, the acceleration. Let's talk about now pushing you ahead, which is essentialism, deep work, and extreme monk mode seasons. Acceleration, how to go from 0 to 100 very quickly. This is essentialism. So essentialism is basically doing less but better. So this little drawing here, this is how most people's lives look. They go a little bit in so many directions. They've got school, but they're not amazing students. They've got like this online business that isn't making money. They've got like the TikTok page that they're trying to grow, but it didn't make any money. They've got like the calisthenics little equipment that they said they'd use, but they didn't make any progress in that. This is how most people's lives look like. This is even your parents' life. It's like they've got their full-time job, but they're not really that successful. They've got their fitness journey that they keep slacking on, and the New Year's resolution, and they're like, oh shit, it's May already, I didn't even do anything that I promised. They've got their relationship, which they don't have enough energy to foster. They've got that one friend that they sometimes see like once a year, but they don't foster the relationship. Basically, most people move in lots of directions but barely make any progress or see any results. And it's really fucking sad, isn't it? Like, do you have parents right now that have constantly mentioned to you about their health and fitness over the last few years? And if you're honest, they've basically made no progress. It's fucking tough, isn't it? Most people are like this, right? They want to add in this new thing and they make no progress. This is what the winners' lives look like. They put as much of their energy as possible in one area, and that's why they seem like so successful, because they've really stood out in one area that they cared about. The bar of success requires more than you think. Imagine this line here. That's the bar of success. So like once you break past that, that's when you feel really successful. And for example, your business is making a fuck ton of money, or that's when you like win the martial arts fight. That's when you get recognized. That's when you're making a bunch of like muscle in your bodybuilding journey. When you have like, or with everything, like the bar of success of everything, of making progress, getting fitter, improving your relationship, whatever. When you have this like balanced life, like most people do, this is what it looks like. It's like you're just not making enough progress in any area to see good results. This is what most people's lives look like. The essentialist moves in this one area, takes as much of their energy as possible to break through that bar of success. This is the difference between the winners and the losers. The essentialist does less things, but does that one thing better. So you simply do less, or you simply just have to do less things at once to see real results. Honestly, you can only make real progress in one area of life at once. This is like how it works. Everyone tries to live a balanced life, getting mediocre results in everything, but the winners usually just focus on one area of life at once. And you might be asking, wait, but there's like, what if I want a balanced life? The way to build a balanced life is basically you start off with one extreme, like one area you've done really well in. Like, for example, let's say fitness. Let's say you're a 15-year-old guy and you basically don't give a fuck about school. You're not really thinking about money or relationships. All you care about is fitness right now, like your bodybuilding journey or getting fit or martial arts, whatever it is. And you go all in on that. You obsess over it. Like you go to the gym for as long as you possibly can. You train really hard. Then you come home and you literally watch videos about fitness, that you know everything to do with nutrition, everything. Imagine you just obsess over that and you made insane progress. You don't have a balanced life. But the way you get a balanced life is then you add in the next thing, like a year from now, 2 years from now, when you've got insane fitness. That's when you start to, for example, work on like your business, and you start to make loads of progress in business. And suddenly you've got like a successful business that makes thousands or tens of thousands every month. And you also have the fitness as well. So the people who try and do it like this, like with these small pieces, they often don't make any progress at all. But the person who makes their life like this makes progress. This is exactly what I did. The first productive thing I did in my life was bodybuilding from age 17. And I just spent years with only really that focus. For years and years and years, I built up my physique, my fitness. I learned about how to like train naturally in the gym. And, I didn't have great genetics or anything. So my progress was slow, but it was just the one thing I was building. Then in 2020, I really got into entrepreneurship, and I just focused on that. And for about 4 years straight, I basically just maintained my fitness, my bodybuilding journey. I didn't really make much more progress, but I had it there. And then when I started to make money, it's like I still had the fitness like relatively at the same spot, which meant that now I've got two things. Then the next thing I'll add is like relationships, and I'll get a really good love life. And suddenly you have balance. But in the long term, in the short term, what you had was extremes. This is how I've seen every successful person. They go all in on less things. They sacrifice and cut out as many things from their lives as they can. So this is your idea, is become an essentialist. Go all in on less things. And this is the most important. Sacrifice and cut out as many things from your life as you possibly can. This is the difference between the version of you that's successful in the goals that you care about and the version that's not. The version of you that's successful didn't do more. He cut out more things. He sacrificed more things. He didn't add in more routines, more habits or anything like that. He sacrificed more. He stopped doing more things. He said no to more things. You're saying no to addictions, time wasting, entertainment, friends you don't even like, bullshit work you're doing just to feel busy. You say no to these things so that you can go all in on the few essential things. So we need to figure out what is essential and to get real results in that. So here's an action step for you, this question to ask yourself. If you only achieve just one goal in one area in the next year, what goal would fulfill you the most? So out of the goals that you've thought about, what one goal in one area in the next year would fulfill you the most? You could write, for example, your aesthetic body, bulking up. You could write getting good grades in that exam that's coming up. You could write getting a business to 5K a month, 10K a month. What one would change your life the most and give you the most fulfillment? Write that down. And then also another question is, if you could only achieve 3 goals in 3 different areas in the next 3 years, what 3 goals would you set? So it might be, for example, okay, I want to graduate from college with like a really good thing, or, I want to make a bunch of money in my business. I want to be on 10K a month in my business. I also want to build the aesthetic body, and I also want to have a girlfriend, something like that. You've got 3 different areas. Once you've got that, everything else is unessential and will literally sap you from doing those essential things. So now here's the hard questions. Would you sacrifice those 3 goals for a friend you don't even like that much? Probably not. Would you sacrifice those 3 essential dreams for entertainment that doesn't even give you that much joy? Probably not. So when you choose to go and play video games or, go and like entertain yourself for a little bit and waste time, and you choose to like add in more things and hang out with someone you don't really like, you're actually sacrificing these things. The success that you want to build, the life that you want to build, will come from you sacrificing as much as possible for the essential things that you've laid out here. That's this is really difficult, by the way. Most people live like such a inessential life, and they just don't make enough progress. If you cut out as much as possible, you would be so surprised of how much you can achieve. In a second, we'll be talking about monk mode, and inside of that, I'll tell you about my routine, like what my day-to-day life looks like, and it's a very essential day. And you might be quite surprised, and you might even think that I'm lying or I'm exaggerating or something, because I live like an essentialist. And that's why I've made so much progress, and I really want to show you that in a second. So the next step is deep work. Most people spend most of their work time doing what's called shallow work. Shallow work is tasks that aren't really important. And honestly, if you're watching this, most likely you're someone who does a lot of shallow work. Deep work is when you're working on the most important thing. So here's an action step for you right now. What's the single highest point of contribution in each area for you? So if you think about like the 3 goals that you've got, what task is the single highest point of contribution? For example, as a YouTuber, it's making the videos. That's the deep work as a YouTuber. It's making the videos. I'm doing the deep work right now. Many YouTubers, however, spend, or let's say waste, hours doing shallow work, like replying to comments, posting on TikTok or Instagram randomly, even though they're supposed to be YouTubers, randomly sitting in Discord servers. Now, do these things have some kind of benefit? Yes, they actually do. Are they the highest point of contribution? Are they the deep work? No. The problem is most people, quite frankly, are just a little bit lazy, that they don't want to go and do the deep, hard work. So they'll do the shallow work because it feels a little bit easier right now, and it does give you some kind of benefit, but often the shallow work will actually sacrifice the deep work that makes the difference. This is such a huge point. So shallow work, the easy work, makes you feel productive, but it doesn't actually move the needle for you to make real progress. This can be your competitive advantage. Like, everyone spends their time doing shallow work. If you focus on the deep work, the real work, you'll get insane results. So think about for yourself right now, what is the deep work in each area for you? Let's say with your studies, what's the deep work and what's the shallow work? Let's say in your business, what's the deep work and the shallow work? You might find that you're often just wasting time with the shallow work just because of this mindset, like, oh, but there's a bit of a benefit for doing it. But often the shallow work will literally stop you from doing the deep work, and it's the deep work that will actually like move you along. This is like a huge point of how so many people work. It's like they basically are in work productive mode, but they're not really seeing any results. It's because they're working on things that are just much less important, that are easier, but still tire you out. And so it's really important that you look at shallow work and you almost want to take a big step back from it, because you're like, wait, if I go and spend 20 minutes replying to these comments, I'm not scripting my video for 20 minutes, and that's more important. And it's harder to work on deep work because it's more mentally demanding. It's so easy to think like, oh yeah, I'm being productive if I, go and reply to some people in the comments of my YouTube video, or I'm being productive if I go and like highlight my study book or something. I'm being productive if I go and send some emails or something. But none of those things will actually move you along. They might give you a little benefit, but it's not worth it, because the thing that will actually move you along is the real work, the deep work. That's what I'd tell you to go all in on. Don't be the guy who's spending so much of his time doing like basically the cope fake work. Be the guy who's just looking for the biggest, hardest, deepest tasks, focusing on them. And if you slack in some of the shallow work, who gives a fuck, because you've done the big, hard task instead. The final thing we'll talk about is the extreme monk mode seasons, where this is periods of extreme action towards your goals, where you basically sacrifice everything else and you'll follow set rules during this period, which I'll show you mine in a second. The reason why this is so powerful is because you'll identify, okay, for the next like certain amount of days or weeks, I'm going to go into this monk mode season where I'm going to sacrifice as much as possible, and I'm just going to stay as strict as I can on this certain goal of this certain routine that I'm going to get into. And then when you end that period, then you can basically relax and have a bunch of fun for a few days or so, and then go back into this. This is how every successful person I know lives, by the way. Every successful person I know has done this. So instead of trying to live a balanced life, go into periods of extreme focus on one goal. So imagine an extreme monk mode, but basically like, where you're in this season where you're not really speaking to many people, you just focus on your goals. Imagine that kind of period for 21 days where you literally work like 12 hours a day. You do nothing fun, although we can argue work is fun, but you get what I mean. You do nothing fun. You eat such a simple diet. You don't cheat on your diet. You're just so focused. You wake up super early, like 4 a.m., and you just fucking grind for like 21 days straight. And then at the end of it, you can have an extreme fun / social mode for a few days to blow off steam. So this is how I've seen successful people live their life. This is how I live my life. I'll do these extreme modes where I work incredibly hard for a couple of weeks straight, and then I'll have a couple of days where I basically have like extreme fun. And this works so much better than how most people live their lives, where most people have this weird balanced day where they wake up kind of slow, then they go to school or work, then they basically come home and watch like an hour of Netflix, they try and do like an hour of like business work where they don't really do so well, and then they go to the gym and then they go to sleep. They basically get no good results in life. The monk mode version of you literally wakes up at like 3 or 4 a.m., fucking works before school or work, or just works like a dog for hours and hours and hours, and just keeps on working. And then you go to sleep really early, like 7, 8, 9 p.m. and you wake up and you just do it again and again, moving the needle in the biggest deep work blocks. And then for a few days, you can go and do all the fun things that you want. Please, again, trust me on this. I don't know successful people who don't live like this. This is how they all seem to live. Successful people don't often take like weekends off. They don't take weekends off. They wake up and they just work, and they're in productive mode till basically bedtime for a good few weeks at a time. And then they'll go and take like a few days off. So this is my monk mode season, my rules. So basically I go on to like 21 to 28 days of monk mode at a time. And this is what I'll do. I'll wake up at about 3 or 4 a.m. Recently, I've been waking up at 4 a.m. I go to sleep at about 6 or 7 p.m. I have a very strict diet. I only eat meat, eggs, cheese, casein powder, which is like protein powder, a little bit of honey, a little bit of 85% dark chocolate. You might be looking at this and thinking, oh, wow, you can have this stuff. I'm talking literally, I have like a teaspoon of honey, like 20 calories of honey. I have like a cube of dark chocolate, which is again like 20 calories. I don't have sex at this time. I don't have dates. I don't do social stuff apart from workouts. Like I'll go to the gym with a friend, but we only do the workout. We don't like stay after that. I don't do like high value man work, which is where I'll go to the city and I'll go onto podcasts. I don't do like that sort of fake work shit. I just focus on the big, like clear things that I can produce, which is that, I made these 12 full guides during this time, for example. So like at the end of my monk mode period, I want to be able to look at something and say, this is what I produced during that monk mode period. And for me, it's very clear. It's like the YouTube videos that I've made. So think to yourself right now, what's some rules that would be amazing for your monk mode period? Some rules that make you like a killer when it comes to your work rate and being focused. And what's also some rules that, for example, that you get distracted by. So you'd make a rule, like for me, for example, I don't really have a rule in terms of like no video games, because I don't play video games, but I have a rule of like no sex, no dates, because I get distracted by women. And so that's a part of my monk mode rules right there. Then, for example, once you've done your extreme period for like a couple of weeks, you can go on like fuck mode or fun mode where you've done your period, your intensive work period for like 21 days, you've really grinded, you've made so much progress, well then go and take a few days off and do whatever would be 10 out of 10 fun for you. So I like to like fly to a city, go on dates, go on podcasts, go to a bunch of restaurants, and I also like road trips. You have a few days of pure fun, no guilt. You could play video games or binge a TV show for a few days if you wanted to, and then you repeat the extreme monk mode period again. So it's like being super strict and then having a cheat day, but this way it's on a longer term. Instead of it being every day and you have like weekends off, or sorry, if instead of it being every day and you have evenings off, or instead of it being every week and you have weekends off, it's more like it's every month and you have like the last few days of the month off. And this I find makes so much more progress. Why this works so well is because people who live that balanced day-to-day life just don't build the success. You know this, right? If they did, every person you know who your family knows would have been successful. But when you live that balanced life, you don't build success. That's a fact. You'll see in the extreme monk mode period where you've literally worked day by day by day. You don't take evenings off. You don't take weekends off. You just keep working. You'll literally get 4 times more work done because it's like exponential. It's like the last pocket of the distraction that you had to like rest and unwind at the end of a hard day. If you just fucking work during that time anyway, you'll find that you'll get so much more done that it's insane. You get exponentially more done. And then what's interesting is, you know, when you couple the extreme monk mode period with the extreme fun period, you'll also get like 4 times more enjoyments because you'll be fully immersed for a few days with absolutely no guilt, that you can go and literally, like, imagine if you scheduled for yourself like the last 3 days of every month, you could go and do whatever you wanted. Imagine you're a video gamer, but for all of the month you don't play video games, you just work on your business, you work on your studies, and you make insane progress. And then you literally start getting ready for this like 3-day gaming session where you go get a bunch of snacks, it's exciting, you've told your friends, they expect you, do you want to be playing, like, you know, grinding the new update that came out or something, and you'll actually get more fun by batching the work and the fun together rather than having this little cute little balance, because balance is a lie. Results come in the extreme, even for the fun as well. Like, fun comes in the extreme, not in the quick 1 hour of an episode or 1 hour of video games a day. Like, let's be honest, who the fuck has ever been satisfied with 1 hour of video games before? It's like, no, just not at all. But imagine if you go have like an entire movie day where you go and watch, like, if you're like a big fanatic of like Lord of the Rings or something, and you watch all 3 of Lord of the Rings in one day with snacks with someone that you really like, and suddenly that's like a really fun day that you remember forever. Or you go camping, or you go out, whatever it is. So here's the action step. Figure out your monk mode period length. Mine is 21 to 28 days of monk mode and 3 to 5 days of fun. So I go and do 21 to 28 days. Let's just say 21 days of strict monk mode, following my rules. And then I'll take a few days off. And by the way, I'm not very, very like strict with this. If, for example, my monk mode period is 29 days, it's fine. If it's 20 days, it's fine. If my fun, sometimes it'll be 2 days, sometimes it'll be 7 days. You know, I'm not being very, very specific with this. It's more that we're just seeing a kind of ratio where, okay, roughly I'll be anywhere from like 20 to 30 days in monk mode. Roughly, I'll take anywhere from like 2 to 7 days of like the fun mode, depending on like certain things. But it's the pattern that matters the most, that during my monk mode, I follow these rules, which basically means that I don't have most like conventional fun. Although, to be honest, I still have quite a lot of fun in monk mode, because 1, I'm a naturally happy guy, but 2, it's actually really fun to be working so hard that you kind of like, it almost feels like really prideful, like really fulfilling, because you see like, oh shit, like I can actually work to this level, that I've actually impressed myself. Like every day I've been in this monk mode season myself, I wake up and I work for hours, like before even brushing my teeth. Like it's 8 a.m. right now. I've been awake for 4 hours making this guide for you this morning. I haven't even brushed my teeth. I haven't eaten anything just yet. I haven't spoke to anyone. I haven't even checked my phone notifications. I've just worked. As soon as I make this, finish off this guide, I'm going to sit here, like, you know, start eating, brush my teeth and stuff, and with like a smile on my face, like I've just done the hard work that I wouldn't have done if I was living more of this balanced life. And so it makes you like really proud, and it's actually like a fun period, even when you're in the monk mode hard grind period as well. So the action step for you is figure out roughly the length, because some people will do it for like 90 days of monk mode, then like 2 months off the fun period. I like to keep them a little bit shorter. I prefer that, shorter and more intense and more frequent. And then also figure out your monk mode rules and stick to them as best as you can. So you can pause the screen if you want. This is mine. This is what's worked for me. But obviously, let's be honest, bro, no offense, but like if you're a guy who doesn't really fuck, you're not at the level yet to attract many girls, you don't need to write this rule down. If anything, like whilst you're on your monk mode period, if you happen to walk past the girl and she says that she wants you to fuck her, it's like, it might be kind of nice for you to do that. It's more of a distraction for me. But like, for example, spending time playing video games isn't. So that's not on my list. If you felt like you needed that as a rule to like not play video games, not to go and spend 3 hours a day on Discord with people, then that should be a rule for you as well. Go and make your monk mode rules and then just stick to them as best as you can. And that's the 3 steps to fixing your life complete. We went over destination, like where you're going to. We went over the things that are slowing you down, and we went over the things that can speed you up. So that's it. You know what to do. You just need to go and do it. So how do you start? Prepare your monk mode routine right now. So exactly what you will do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep and what rules you'll follow. And then just do it starting from tomorrow morning, following the rules as best as you can. It won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot better than your life right now. And trust me, this stuff works. The promise that I made to you at the start of this guide was that I was going to teach you some lessons so that you can make less mistakes than I did, make faster progress than I did, and create an amazing life that you love. And we've done that today. So I really hope you appreciate that. And finally, the top link in the description is that guide on everything you need to get girls. So once you're ready and you want to start integrating like girls and dating and sex into your life, and that might be like a big developing learning experience for you as well. That might be even something that you want to add into your monk mode period. Then go click that top link in the description and go watch this tutorial right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!